From the first cry, we were taught to be silent. From the very first steps, we were given paths that we did not choose. And from the first dreams, we were told that dreaming too much was dangerous. You were not born with guilt. He wasn't born afraid to make mistakes. He wasn't born trying to please. All this was taught with soft words, subtle punishments, silent glances. The child hungry for affection learns that being loved is synonymous with being moldable. You don't talk like that. Sit up straight. Swallow the cry. Be like that guy. And piece by piece, you've been drifting off your axis. Carl Jung called it persona, the mask we wear to be accepted. Nietzsche would see in this the birth of resentment, an accumulation of frustrations swallowed to fit the mold. Gradually, a socially acceptable I takes the place of the true one. And the worst thing is that you start to believe that it is you, the mask that became a face. At first, the mask helps you. She protects, opens doors, attracts compliments. But one day, you forget you're wearing one. And then, lives in automatic. You say yes when you mean no. You do what you should do, not knowing if you want to. Feel out of place in places where everyone thinks you are so good. The body begins to scream what the soul silences: anxiety, insomnia, vague sensations of emptiness, unnamed syndromes. Nietzsche said, anyone who fights monsters must be careful not to become one of them. But what if the monster is the I you abandoned, the part that wanted freedom, but was locked up? Life as spectacle. We live as actors in a collective spectacle. We play roles we don't choose. The good son, the exemplary employee, the balanced partner, the understanding friend, and, deep down, we follow the invisible primer of an inherited morality never questioned. Nietzsche said that herd morality is the death of individual greatness. Jung saw this as the withdrawal of the soul. The more you pretend, the more you lose yourself, until one day, when the stage is silent and the lights go out, you don't know who's left there anymore. The unconscious does not forget. You can forget who it was, but the unconscious doesn't forget. He keeps each version buried. The spontaneous child, the rebellious teenager, the sensitive adult you smothered to look strong. Jung said, everything that doesn't reach consciousness returns as destiny. Nietzsche asked, do you have the courage to become who you are? Not who they expect, not who your culture has shaped, but who your soul cries out to be, even if it scares you. This is the real chaos, not the world out there, but the internal clash between what you show and what you repress. The call to individuation. Jung called this movement individuation. It's not about being different from others. It's about being whole. Take on all its parts, light and shadow, strength and fragility, desire and limit. Nietzsche called it transvaluation. Destroy inherited values to build your own. Refuse what feels right if it hurts your inner truth, and that takes courage. Because the persona is comfortable, she is applauded, she's safe. But the real thing is wild, unpredictable, and often lonely. The internal rebellion. There comes a point when the soul gets tired of pretending. You start saying no to things you said yes to years ago. The job that seems stable, but corrodes you. The friendship that exists only out of obligation. The comfortable routine, but empty. And the others are frightened. They say you've changed. That's weird. But the truth is, you just stop pretending. Nietzsche warned, the greatest enemy of truth is not lies. It is cowardice. The cowardice of looking at yourself with brutal honesty and admit, this life I'm leading, it's not mine. The traces of the true self. Sometimes he still shows up in the chill caused by a song, the the emotion of a book, in the sudden urge to create, that weird feeling that there's something else. They are traces of your true self, trying to emerge, but he is soon silenced. This does not give money. You need to be realistic. This doesn't suit you. Yup, you have responsibilities. But it also has a soul, and an ignored soul takes revenge. The death of the ego is the rebirth of being. Jung did not see the ego as a villain, but like a shell that needs to be broken for the real being to be born. Nietzsche, on the other hand, wanted to break the ego, to free the creative spirit. Both, however, point to the same turning point. Confront yourself. Let die what is not yours, to be born what is. And this requires disappointing others, lose status, take risks, or by choice, because only those who make mistakes for themselves. He might one day hit it like who he is. When you stop living for others, when you stop seeking approval, something magical happens. The world remains the same, but you change. You walk different, speak differently, choose different, not to provoke you, not to please, but because there is a coherence between what you feel and what you live. And that consistency is freedom. Nietzsche said, become who you are, but he didn't say be you. He said become, because the real me is not found ready. It is built on the ruin of the false self. The journey back home. Carl Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you really are. But that doesn't happen on a weekend course. It doesn't come with a ready answer. It does not appear in a feed full of motivational phrases. It's a process, slow, quiet, deep, made of small decisions and great detachments. Nietzsche would say that it is the way of the free spirit, what dares to dance over the abyss, which creates its own values. What goes wrong with greatness? Because he refuses to live a small life, the reunion with what pulses. So, breathe, close your eyes, and ask really, who am I? Without the fear of disappointing, without the persona mask, without the expectation of others. The answer may not come in words, but it will come as a shiver, like a good silence, like a reunion with what pulses in you. You don't have to reinvent yourself. You need to remember. Remember who you were before the world tells you who you should be. And when it happens, you don't turn into someone new. You finally becomes you.